I'm Nicole Jones, host of Mediocre to Masterful, a podcast teaching you how to go after your goals that you've pushed to the side. This is a resource to help you be fearless with your goals and familiar with the feeling of success. This podcast includes best practices to elevate your goals in multiple areas to help you pursue mastery over your life.
I have to start by saying thank you all so much for all of your support with Mediocre to Masterful. I am just overwhelmed with happiness with all the positive feedback I've been receiving. I'll probably be saying thank you for many more shows to come as well. But I am just, oh my gosh. Guys, it's serious. Once you actually start walking in your purpose, doing the things that you have put on the back burner, and actually putting it out there for people to receive. And, it's something that people can relate to, something people can grow from. Just, whatever your purpose is, people will gravitate to it and they will find themselves in what you're trying to share. And it is just a beautiful experience. It really is. And I continue to encourage you all to follow your goals. This is the very premise of creating the Mediocre to Masterful platform. But it's just amazing the response you'll get once you actually, move toward what it is that you say you want to do in life. So thank you, everyone. I truly appreciate all the comments, all the text messages, all the calls, all the screenshots. Thank you so much. I am really honestly humbled and just overwhelmed with joy. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. But today's topic is about save your environment. Now, when I say save your environment, I am not talking about recycle and, go outside and find the nearest tree to hug and picking up, or dropping off scrap metal at, a scrap metal location to get money back, or, picking up plastic bottles and saving them and putting in your recycle bin. All of that is absolutely amazing. If you're doing that, great. Thank you for protecting this earth because she needs it. But I am really referring to your surroundings. Save your environment within your surroundings in order to win at your goals, to protect your happiness and protect your energy. Saving your environment can be wanting to participate in more self-care, or getting out of a relationship that is not serving you, or actively giving back as a form of volunteerism if you feel disconnected, from your community that you live in, or just making your circle of friends a little bit smaller. It could be a number of things in terms of what saving your environment looks like for you. There are people that I follow and have followed on early on in their journey of rise to success. They were finding themselves. They were trying to find their passion. And once they had found their passion, they started creating a platform online. And now they are just mega influencers. Or it could be somebody, someone who went to college and they always wanted to be an engineer. And they are just on the rise in their industry, their career, their entrepreneurship journey. It could be anybody, but I have noticed, just as you have watched someone grow and, create this beautiful, life for themselves, fully successful. I have noticed a few people that way as well. And I've, watched them on their journey towards success, and I've noticed their glow up, and it is a beautiful observation. And I just like always am in awe of people's success. And I just love a good success story in general. It just does something to my soul. Like, I just love to hear about people going to the top, rising to the top, no excuses, not letting fear or other people get in their way of their success. And they have, reached certain pinnacles in their life. And I'm just super happy for them. One thing that's really important when it comes to success is continuing to save your environment as well. Meaning protect your space, protect your energy, because just as I am able to see their glow up, just as you are able to see their glow up, and whoever that person is that you have watched grow within their ranks, so can the enemy. And the enemy will try to, come in all different angles to stop you and that rise to success. And you just have to make sure you are keeping the right people within your circle, saving your environment by, not allowing a lot of people in that don't really align with your vision. So, sometimes I've actually said prayers for these people that I know personally, in terms of, I know they're doing amazing things in this world. Let me pray on them. God, send your angels down to, continue to bless them, and also keep the enemies away, because it is real. And that's, it's honestly just life. But you have to keep that in mind when you are on this, on this rise towards success. It's a constant journey, and, good and bad things happen throughout the ride. And you have to remember, throughout it all, continue to create a space that is conducive of positivity, and positive people, and that you also have the right intentions to continue to be successful. And your environment is what you intended it to be, basically, which is an environment of constant positivity, constant productivity, and constant happiness, and being able to pour into others, your success, be able to tell your story. Now, what can we do to make sure that we are saving our environment, creating a space of happiness? Well, there are many ways to achieve your goals, and you can start by, doing those little spot checks of your environment. For me, I wanted a better environment to encourage wellness and a greater spiritual connection. So I had to teach myself, okay, what am I doing now that I don't feel like is working? And what am I not doing now that I should be doing to create this space that I want for myself? So, I started some things like a gratitude journal, a little bit more devotional time in the morning, from the wellness aspect, and then, creating or setting up a yoga mat, have it placed already out in the morning, and make sure that when I wake up in the morning, I am being thankful. I do a little bit of a workout. Another thing I do is leave my phone downstairs after a certain time. That way in the morning, the first thing I do is not picking up my phone. So I had to be real with myself about goals and say, if I really want to achieve, these things that I say I want so much in terms of wellness and, spiritual connection, I had to change some things about myself. I had to create a space that would encourage that. And I had to actually do the actions to get me there, to make me feel happy. So, those are just, examples from my own, but, it could be anything for you. If it falls into, the wellness or greater spiritual connection category, or some of the categories I mentioned earlier in terms of relationships, wanting to be more active in the community, or just your circle in general. So now, what comes with the environmental shift? Actually doing things accordingly to create a space that is one that you want to prosper in. It takes discipline. Discipline, discipline, and discipline. Develop enough will and determination to see and experience a shift in your life. It takes discipline, and you have to start somewhere because goals take time. Simple shifts in your daily routine will provide you a different course of success. You'll begin to program new ways of thinking. You'll be able to incorporate new things within your routine to get you closer to where you want to be. You'll be able to break away from bad habits. And although you're making minor shifts, it will have a great impact on anything you might still be holding on to from the past. And things from the past that might have weighed you down or is weighing you down. And for some, there might be some things that are weighing you down unknowingly. And it's not until, you start making those shifts, like once you make the effort to change things around you for the better, to achieve your goals, those weights will begin to lift, and you will actually create more space for yourself to receive better things in your life. If you don't dedicate yourself to what you say you want out of life, honestly, you do not want it that bad to begin with. And that's just the God honest truth. You have to be able to activate discipline. I guess, for example, we all know someone, oh my God, that swears up and down they want a better job, they want more income, or, whatever. Insert a constant rant here. Anything that this person has been telling you. They have said this to you over the past few years, and I'm like clapping my hands because it's like, okay, girl, get your life together. The kicker is they have not changed anything in their life in order to get to this goal they want so bad. They said they want a better job, but every opportunity you have shared with them is either not good enough, it's too far, they know someone they don't like at that job. I mean, the list goes on. And they shut down every opportunity that you share with them. Listen, they don't want a better job. They like the idea of a better job. It sounds good. Like, I could continue to say this, but really they have found so much comfort and mediocrity in their current position. They don't know what opportunity looks like anymore. They've become so comfortable in that role. And if you have an inkling that you are this person, you have to begin to take baby steps in your life to save your environment and develop happiness and what it is that your purpose, what has developed in you or that person that did not occur overnight, nor did it take a few weeks to fester. I mean, these actions, are over a course of time, and it only makes sense that, shedding those bad habits will take time. It's going to take baby steps to get out of that funk. And again, discipline to be able to, receive the rewards that you want. To give you perspective, back to my wellness and, spiritual connection goals, having my phone by my bedside did me absolutely no good. I mean, I would scroll all night, sometimes falling asleep with the phone in my hand on social media, like to then wake up and do the same thing. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? I was zoned out looking at what other people were doing in the world and not taking care of myself, not taking care of my health. Like, sleeping was not all that great. And in some cases, I got so wrapped up into what the world was doing. I would run late to work. I mean, a few benefits I notice automatically by leaving my phone downstairs or, as far away from me as possible at a certain time of night. And, also in the morning. I mean, I slept better and there was more time for devotion and self-care in the morning, which sounds a lot better than scrolling for an hour or two and being late for work. I mean, at night, I would allow my mind to unplug and unwind. I allow myself more time for pillow talk and, some other things with my husband. And I intentionally, leave it out of sight at a certain time, like around 9:30-ish, before give or take, where I'm just like just winding down. And then in the morning, there are benefits. I am able to give a much more meaningful prayer, to have that, time with God, to talk and to pray, which is so healing and so awesome and so powerful as soon as I wake up. And there is also a beautiful paragraph in the book, The Secret, which is great. If you haven't read it, pick it up, take a look, Kindle, or wherever you buy your books. But there is a paragraph from James Ray. I had to write his name down because I don't think I would remember. An inspirational author, and he was one of the many guests featured in the book. And he mentions, as he wakes and places one foot on the floor, he says, "Thank." And then as he, puts the other foot down, he says, "You." And I have been doing that every morning since I read that. Like, it's just a small gesture of appreciation and gratitude. But I'm like, oh my God, I can do that. It's a simple task. And once again, I am creating this environment, creating this space that I want to walk into, of gratitude, of love, of positivity. So that is something I do. I, thank you, God. And I get the greatest sense of appreciation and gratefulness for his blessings. And then immediately after, I begin like a yoga flow and a light workout, depending on how I feel in the morning. Setting my yoga mat down. And actually, I've gotten to the point where I don't even need the yoga mat anymore. In some cases, if I'm just doing like a light yoga flow, I just start doing it. And I've created this repetition so much so that I can just do it and not feel like I need an object in order for me to feel like I need to get this done. I mean, it's not to say that's wrong, but, as time comes with, you creating this environment that you want to live in, you'll notice you'll be able to do these out of habit. And again, going back to discipline, these things will then just come natural to you. And finally, after I've gotten ready for work and everything, I make sure before I leave the house, I write in my gratitude journal, write, something simple, like I'm happy I got clear skin this morning, or, something a lot more impactful. I make sure I write in that journal what I'm thankful for. Like what you hear? Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Mediocre to Masterful and on Twitter at M2Masterful. And when you check out our website, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter for freebies and information about upcoming podcasts and ways to master your goals. Another thing that my husband and I have incorporated, which has been just beautiful, is making sure that we pray together before we leave the house. We are pretty faithful and try to stay in tune and talk with God on a daily basis anyway. But we wanted more touch points together where we pray together. And we do that literally before we leave out of the house. And that's, every single day. Sometimes we forget, which that means we just text each other or call each other the little prayer that we want to say for the day. But we do make sure we, before we head out into the garage, hold hands, each of us interchangeably say a prayer and express gratitude. These simple practices are just fulfilling, and they just, create this aura around you, this environment where you have created that feels peaceful, that feels loved. And I'm keep using the same words because you are now stepping into the life that you want to live. And, as you make those minor adjustments, as you make those minor shifts in your environment, it will then be a ripple effect of other positive actions and opportunities coming into your life. My environment, is being, much more fulfilling. And it's now, going back to the phone scrolling situation, unprovoked by other people on social media. I was, scrolling on social media last thing at night, first thing in the morning, having other people's lives being poured into me as I'm going to bed and as I start my morning, not even realizing I wasn't creating and speaking good things into my life first. So now I'm in everybody's business, weaving into everybody's life before I can even check into mine. And that wasn't a good feeling for me. I feel like I was missing a real self-care piece there, a real, spiritual connection there. So I had to take a step back and make sure that I was doing what was making me happy. My environment is much more welcoming and has a much more beautiful energy around it. And I now create the space that I want to live in, that I want to walk in. I mean, I've always created that space. I wasn't creating the right one. And this practice brings me so much more happiness. And as you can see, shifting my environment became a domino effect towards other positive actions, because actually I started off with the stepping out of bed and saying thank you based on the book The Secret, which then led into me going, well, let me try yoga this morning. Okay, well, this next time, let me do more devotional this morning. Okay, well, I wonder if I can add something else within this time span in the morning. And maybe let's do a prayer together in the morning. Like, all that didn't happen at once. It was literally like a ripple effect where I was like, okay, well, what else can I do this morning? Or what else can I do at night to prepare, for me to have a great sleep? So it takes time, it takes discipline, and you just have to begin somewhere. Those examples, I hope, will help you make greater strides towards your goals. And you're able to create an environment that is, something that you want to be a part of, that you feel happy to share. Saving your environment can be, a bit uncomfortable when it comes to changing the people in your circle. Honestly, I feel like this aspect I am good with because I keep a small circle anyway. And I feel like I've already dropped if we want to call it dead weight already. But you could be going through this. You are probably thinking, I need to let go of a few people in my circle. That could be family and friends, and it's difficult. This is always difficult because this can include your family members, and this can include friends that you grew up with for years. And it's difficult detaching yourself from someone you have shared great memories with. Over time, something has shifted, life has changed, and there's basically no more common ground. And it feels more frustrating than fun to hang out. Like, if you have those inklings, if you have that feeling that, you might be wanting to tap out because, we're not in the same space anymore, you have to stop and think about, okay, what do I need to do in my environment at this very moment to elevate? It could be the energy now feels heavy when you guys are around. And if the relationship has actually turned negative, or, there's just not the same connection like it used to be, linking up feels more like a chore instead of, what it used to be. Those are just a few signs, and you just have to come to terms with bowing out gracefully in a relationship that brings you down, even after you have tried to save the bond. Like, don't just bow out gracefully without communicating to these people. I mean, we are adults. Like, we can have a conversation, folks. You do not have to like ignore phone calls, text messages, block them on social media if you have not yet had a conversation. Like, if you feel like there is some sort of a rift or a disconnect, or it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. It just could be like you guys aren't on the same page anymore. Have a conversation, talk it out. Just make sure you guys are on good terms. And if it's on bad terms, that is life. And we, sometimes have to go through things like that, but talk it out. And you can love them from a distance. That's fine. It's okay. There's no harm in doing that. And by doing so, you'll notice that you begin to attract other beautifully spirited people. People that motivate, inspire, and uplift you. You'll be able to bounce ideas off with these people and feel fulfilled and renewed. And it just a great energy basically is being created. If you are also in the right headspace, you will then attract people who align with your purpose, who align with your passion. The people that you have to let go, it's fine. It is not the end of the world. Maybe you'll meet again when you guys are on the same wavelength again. If not, that's great too. It was just, a moment in time where during that stage of your life. And when you meet, other people who attract with your same energy and, bouncing off ideas, creating new bonds, make sure that you are also reciprocating that same energy to these people. Like, don't be around them because they're just a positive person and they're just like this light and breath of fresh air, and you just want to be around them all the time, and you're like, oh, I just love being around this person. They're great. They're awesome. But you're not pouring anything into them. Like, it has to be reciprocated. Make sure you're aligning yourself with people that inspire you. So whatever it is that, from this message that you thought of, that, I need to really take some time and protect my energy, like protect my space and make some environmental shifts in my life. Like, whatever it is that came to mind through this message, I encourage you to create that plan, create those goals, what it is that you want to change, and say a little prayer for each one of those to make sure that it aligns well with what it is you actually should be, pursuing. That you are able to make room in your life for greater things by making those shifts. Let go of dead weight, that your intentions are sound in whatever it is that you want to change. And also be a light of good energy towards the success of each one of those. By placing this covering over your goals, you are already closer to a win. And your goals, whatever it is that you write down, are not lofty, unattainable ideas. Like, they have power and you just have to tap into them. They are sitting on, the top shelf, waiting for you to make the right climb towards success. And, waiting for you to, clean up your environment, spruce up the space a little bit, and make room for success. And, let me not forget to say, there is no elevator or escalator waiting to carry you to the top of your success. Like, you have to put forth the right attitude and our keyword from earlier, discipline, to carry yourself. You cannot blame others for the fault of your life. You cannot blame others for the lack of your success. You really have to look within what it is that you can change in order to create an environment that it makes me happy. Create an environment that leads me towards success. Oh, and then also, let me not forget, whenever you make it to the top, or if you are closer to the top and you are, sitting right next to the ladder of success, that you also make sure that you help others who are also trying to reach, new heights. It is important that you be able to share some of your learnings, some of your experience, if you see someone who, was in the position that you once were. The feeling or the saying, it gets lonely at the top. Like, that is a true statement. That is a real true statement. And honestly, going back to closing your circle or, making your circle smaller, it can feel real lonely at the top if you're the only successful person in your circle. Like, you can't relate to any of your friends when it comes to, let's say you're an entrepreneur. They don't get anything that you're saying. They question everything that you do. They don't see the vision. Like, you need to change that circle. Especially more so if they are pouring negative energy into your thoughts, into your vision, because they don't understand. It's one thing to not understand because you have not, walked that trail, and they're like, oh, I didn't think about it in that way, and it's just perspective. But if they are pouring, girl, that ain't gonna work. Girl, who doing that? Girl, she's doing that already. Or, 5 people just inbox me that same business idea. Just random things. If they are pouring negative things into your environment, yeah, you need to change that circle. I almost wanted to say sis, but I'm not one of those girls that say that, so I'm not going to act like I say that. But, changing your environment is a real practice, and it takes discipline. So make sure you're helping the people who are going in the same direction that you once were. I hope this message served you well. I believe in each one of you that you can do this, that you can shift your environment in a way that, helps you level up. And I wish you much success.
Hey there, Mediocre to Masterful is online. Visit mediocretomasterful.com to listen to our podcast or find us on iTunes. Share this episode with those you know in need of motivation. Through our site, you can join our Masterful email list to get freebies and helpful information. We're also on Instagram at Mediocre to Masterful and Twitter at M2Masterful. Thanks for listening.